Greetings! You did not click on How to Win at Top Golf with Lindsay Maurer, but you have clicked on St. Paul's podcast Beyond the Sermon. During this time, we'll look beyond the words that our pastors have preached that are full of life. I'm your host, Michael Sinn, and today I have Pastor Smith with me. Tell everybody your PIN number.
My PIN number?
Yeah.
1234.
So you have 1,234 pins on your desk.
I do.
Wow, must have a really big desk.
That's why it's so messy.
Did you think I was talking about a different number? Or a different pin?
I did, yeah.
Oh, no, mine is P-E-N, not P-I-N. That's probably the confusion there.
See, it is. So this is a source of contention with Melissa and me also, that she pronounces the short I and the short E the same. And I don't know if you did that intentionally or if that's just how they talk in the part of Illinois that you're from.
It could be that. I did have an Olympia education, so it's a little bit different because the only school with the water tower in the state. So I don't know.
The school itself had a water tower?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep, right next to the building. So as far as I'm aware of still, that school is the only school in Illinois that has its own water tower on the property.
Did you have to, was it like instead of climbing a rope to pass the gym class, did you have to climb up so far on the water tower?
I wish. That would be so much fun. All right, well, are you ready to dive into the sermon of yours?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, I will also say that I did not hear your sermon.
Okay.
Because for those of you that did not know, that we had our confirmation service at 9:45, and so I wanted to attend to see our 8th graders, proclaim their faith to everybody at St. Paul. So, your goal, Pastor Smith, is to make sure to make it extra clear for me and the other listeners that will also maybe attending that service.
Yeah, because there was no sermon in that service.
No, it was not.
Because usually when we had the confirmation service, we had the confirmation faith essays that the students read, which were really good.
They were.
And really just for the sake of time, I think some people listening are like, yeah, it's my favorite service of the year. There's no sermon, no,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But this will be an interesting podcast then, because I also was pretty under the weather.
Yeah.
And so this is not really a joke. I don't remember really preaching the sermon. Like I had gotten probably about 90 minutes of sleep the night before, just for whatever. Yeah, it just felt really lousy basically the whole weekend.
Because you were nervous, like, what am I going to do for this podcast?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yep.
Yeah, I made myself sick over this. So I do think I remember what the sermon was about, though. So
yeah,
this could go off the rails real fast. We'll see.
Oh, well, maybe
could be fun.
All right. Well, let's begin with this first question and see how it goes. If not, we'll just go straight to the deer in the headlights question.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 1 is, what were the texts that you preached on, or even thought about maybe preaching on?
So this is the final week of growing through the Bible. So we started this when we set out to do it. I thought, this is going to be just kind of cover the school year basically. And so we started back in August, and then I was looking, when are we going to end it in May? And I saw, May 24th is Pentecost. I'd like to celebrate Pentecost as normal. So I kind of worked backwards from that and okay, we'll end the week before Pentecost. So where are we ending with? The book of Revelation. That makes sense if you're going through the Bible. So I was thinking, what do I want to tackle from Revelation? And I was considering the first few chapters, which is Jesus sending these letters to the 7 churches. There's like the church in Ephesus or the church in, Thyatira or any of these places. And
is that by Columbus?
Thyatira?
Yeah.
Could be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And so I was like, I could work with those. not as much in the scary parts of Revelation. So I thought about that for a little bit, but then I was really drawn to, if we're going to preach, we're preaching through the whole Bible, and we're getting to the very end of the Bible, and the very end of Revelation has this image of the new heaven and the new earth, and this preview of like how wonderful things are going to be. And I thought that's going to be kind of a nice full circle opportunity to go from the very beginning of the year. We talked about Garden of Eden and then the fall into sin. We've been dealing with sin the whole rest of the year. And at the very end, we'll have this glimpse of a day when sin will not be a problem for us anymore. So I went with Revelation 21. And so I was kind of, looking at different things in Revelation. And that's where we landed.
Okay. I mean, it seems very fitting to end with the last book for the last part of the year. Does that mean we're not getting any more bookmarks either?
There will not be any more bookmarks, for the foreseeable future at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if worst case, if people are asking for it, could we just get like a bookmark of your face?
We could take it under advisement. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
If there's any demand for it, I don't know if there will be. But.
All right. Well, if there is, I'll reach out to Gigi. Maybe we'll get her to take the picture and we'll put that one on the bookmark.
Okay.
So she can do a really flattering one of you.
Oh, she would. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Question number 2 is: Did you even have an illustration or a opening segment for your sermon?
So I did. I was talking about the concept of a vision board. I wonder. So when I talked about it to the congregation, I got the sense that at least there wasn't a lot of outward acknowledgement that they knew what I was talking about. And I wonder, are you familiar with that concept?
I am, but only because of TV shows.
Okay.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
Where you are cutting out things from magazines and you put it on the board like, this is what you're going to envision, this is what you are going to focus on.
Yeah. And I don't have a vision board at my house or anything. And like if people do, that's fine.
It's in your office.
It's not. We're sitting in here right now. Where is it?
It's in that closet that I've never been inside before.
But yeah, people they'll put pictures of their goals, their priorities, something to kind of keep them motivated. Even when things get difficult, like, oh, I don't want to exercise today, but maybe I've got my goals that I'm working toward. I have a picture of, the finish line and a medal at the end of the Cleveland Marathon. So, fine, I'll go run today,
Which that Cleveland Marathon was this past
It was, yeah. I should have worked that in, I guess. That was not on my vision board because I was preaching instead of running, but...
But could you have even ran with your current condition?
I think I would have passed out. Yeah, even if I was in tip-top shape, I wouldn't have been able to finish it at this point. I don't think. But yeah. So this vision board, I was just thinking of. Okay, even if we don't have vision boards, we all kind of understand the concept of I'm working toward a goal. There are things that motivate me to endure through difficult times. And I think when God is showing us these visions of things in Revelation or elsewhere in Scripture, I think it's kind of like, hey, here's your heavenly vision board. This is where God is leading you eventually. This is like the fulfillment of His promises. It's in the future for you, but it's going to be yours because of what Jesus has done for you. And so that's what I was working with, and I don't know. Maybe some people were like, "Oh, I had no idea that vision boards were a thing." It's a little bit. Some of that stuff I don't. When you get into like, I'm gonna manifest my own future or something, I'm like, okay, well, give me a break. But I'm all for setting clear goals and working toward them. But I think we need to think, okay, there's a difference between some of the earthly goals I'm working toward. They might be important for a while, but they're not as important as where God is leading us, obviously, in eternity. But we can have our eyes on both kinds of things, but ultimately fix your eyes on Christ and the future that He's won for you.
Okay. Question number 3. Was there an idea that was starting to form, for your main focus, the direction that you wanted to go to for your sermon? Or it was like, never mind, I think I'm going to switch it to go this direction?
I think when I decided I wanted to do this kind of new heavens and new earth, looking at this wonderful future in store, there was a part of me that was focusing on, in Revelation 21, there's this imagery that the new heavens and the new earth are coming down. Like New Jerusalem is like descending down to us. And I think that's backwards from how we usually think about or talk about what's going to happen at the end. We think about like, I'm going to die and escape from this terrible place, and I'll get to go be with Jesus, which is, we do get taken to be with Jesus after we die. But when Jesus returns on the last day, there is this concept of He's coming, like He's bringing this renewal and this restoration of all things down. And that's usually the direction of things when we can't get to God. We think that way sometimes. We're like, I can like ascend to God. But even in the incarnation, Jesus, the Son of God, comes down to us, and I think when He comes the second time, it's going to be similar, where He's going to bring this new reality down, and it's going to be a restorative, like back to the way things ought to have been with Eden, the Garden of Eden, and the perfection that was very short-lived there. But now it's gonna, in Eden 2.0, that's gonna be the way it is forever. And so I thought about I could focus more on that, and there's some good implications there about knowing that that's the future reality. Does that impact the way that I live now? Like, do I value God's creation more now, knowing that it will be renewed and restored? It's not just going to like all burn down and go away. I think there's some interesting implications there. It just, frankly, it seemed like the kind of thing that would maybe work better with a Bible study or more of a back and forth, because I think that kind of concept is a little bit trickier, and I would have liked to have been able to be more methodical with the way to kind of present that in a sermon. I mean, I could have done it in a sermon.
Yeah.
But I just was ultimately led to go the other way, focusing just kind of more on how amazing it will be,
yeah,
and not so much that like, it makes a difference that it's coming down, instead of a whole new thing.
Okay. Very good. Question 4. What was the goal to benefit the listeners for the faith?
So this was one kind of funny thing. When I picked Revelation 21, I thought, I've got all these other Bible passages that I want to use that can link to this. But then, usually we're trying to pick an Old Testament reading, an epistle, and then a gospel. Yep. And the only passages that I was thinking of were all like non-gospel New Testament things. So I was like, we're not going to read them all in church, but I'll work them into the sermon.
Yeah.
And Romans 8:18 was like the verse that I thought, this is going to kind of be the turning point in the sermon, and then kind of a lead in to like getting to Jesus eventually. But Paul says in Romans 8, for I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed to us. And that just kind of said everything I wanted to say in one verse.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Like in one sentence. Because it's like we see the heavenly vision board, we see what's being promised, we see what God is fulfilling for us, and we're trying to get through this. We're trying to get through the difficulties, and Paul's saying it's not worth comparing. Like, this is bad now maybe, but it's going to be so wonderful that just get through this and you'll see. And so I thought that's kind of helps you endure, helps you strive. Because I think that is tough when you're living in that reality of like suffering of the present time.
Yeah.
You almost, your eyes tend not to be fixed on Jesus or on the vision of the heavenly future.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's there, but sometimes we get so discouraged or distracted by all the bad things of the present time. So I wanted to like kind of leverage that verse and hopefully kind of tie all these thoughts together. Because I've found that verse to be very powerful, and really that whole chapter, Romans 8, is so jam packed with good stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. My last sermon question I have for you is, and like, man, I'm crossing my fingers on this since I cannot confirm this. Was Jesus the center of your sermon, or was it Yannick Sinner?
Oh, I would never preach about Yannick Sinner.
Okay.
He's probably a lot of our listeners don't know he is the number one ranked tennis player at the time at the current moment.
He is. That's why I was like, I got to make sure on this.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I'll do a quick little thing. I saw there was like a satirical website, I think, did a there's well no I don't even know what it was. There was like a headline that said Sinner wins U.S. Open, and and then somebody wrote like, could have been any of us, or how do we know who they're talking about? Kind of like, we're all sinners, right? Ha ha. But there's actually like the best tennis player is named. His last name is Sinner. Yeah. So it's a funny thing.
Which they missed a huge opportunity. They could have said, Sinner is winner of this tournament.
You're right.
That's so much better.
Yeah. That is whoever. Yeah. People are going to get fired now.
They should.
Because
that's unacceptable.
Because of missing that. But
yeah.
No, I did preach about Jesus. And that was it.
But was he the center of your sermon?
The center?
Yeah.
He was.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
So Hebrews 12 was another passage from the New Testament. I was like, I got to work this one in too. And that's Jesus, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is now, seated at the right hand of the throne of God. And I think that's, well, you're a runner, so you get this concept of, I know the finish line is up ahead, but whether it's like I can see it or I just kind of know that it's 8 miles up ahead, whatever. I think it's the same for Jesus. Jesus knew that the finish line for him was, he would be raised, he'd be, ascended, he'd be, Lord of all. But also that he would save all his people. Like he knew, like, this is why I am subjecting myself to all this suffering and pain on the cross, is so that I can have all this joy. Mm-hmm. I can accomplish my Father's mission. And so Jesus he's our Savior. He's also, I think, our example, though, of what it means to endure. Yeah. And that's a big theme in the New Testament, that, hey, Jesus has done all this now. Just endure. Just keep going. Just keep following him. Keep trusting in him. Life's going to be hard, but you're going to get through. And here's what's waiting for you. So, we have that that Hebrews 12, Hebrews 11 and 12. I think with the, there's that faith, all the faithful people, and there's that kind of endurance theme going on. Paul talks about it in various points too. It just kind of plays well, I think, with the Christian life being a race that's hard, but you have that vision of what's to come at the end.
All right. Well, you asked that question. It's like, do I get my GPS watch to know where I'm at?
Yeah.
When I'm running?
Yeah.
Okay. Then, yep, I'm good to go. So my watch will tell me how much longer I have here on Earth.
Ooh. I wouldn't want that one.
No?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I'd want to know. I don't think I'd want to know.
That is fair. I don't know if I would either. That's why I threw that out there. All right. Well, that's all the questions I have for your sermon. Are you ready to move on to the deer in the headlights question?
Let's do it.
All right. How much do you know about the human brain?
I mean, I don't know. About as much as the next guy, maybe.
Oh, so a neurologist?
Not as much. Is that the next guy? Is that the
Yeah.
average man as a neurologist?
Yeah.
Well, then I know less.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it's definitely a mystery in many different areas, and the brain does process a lot of information. So here's my question for you: Is if the voice inside your head is you, then who is listening?
Well, okay. Thanks for tuning in. um, yeah, I mean, who am I then? You know,
Yeah.
because my voice is. Have I been cloned and shrunk down to fit into my head?
No. I mean, it could also be one of the like. Do you have multiple personalities? So it could be one of those.
Mm. Was I? Is it me from the future? Also, with the technology to be shrunk.
But would the you from the future have the information needed? Like, oh, you should do this. That way you can make more money. Or hey, if
Well,
you
so
go
I'm
this
saying,
way,
like,
you
if,
don't go
well,
in the
the
crash.
future me, if that's is what's happening, future me is doing a real poor job because I
Exactly.
haven't gotten any good tips on, what to do, or maybe I just haven't been listening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like you said, I could blame someone else for not listening if
Ah.
I'm the one. Yeah. This is too deep.
Yeah.
This is like a Rene Descartes. How do I know anything is real? Well, I think, therefore I am.
Yep.
See now you've got me thinking. I'm trying to think if the voice in my head even is my voice.
Oh.
I think it is.
How do you know what your voice sounds like? Because ever listen to an audio clip? It's like that's not what my voice sounds like.
Yeah, it is a little trippy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a little trippy when you do that. Yeah, I mean it's quiet. Yeah, yeah. This is like like do you like when you close your eyes? Can you? Do you like if you like try to imagine an apple? Like what does it look like? And I guess there are some people that say like I can't do that, and other people say I can, but it's not in color.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I close those eyes, I see the little white dots popping everywhere.
White dots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the little thing that moves around your eye, like when you're looking at someone after you do like a quick open.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. My eyes are so bad. I don't know. I don't know if my experience is representative of the rest of humanity. Yeah. I don't know, man. You've stumped me on this one. I'm going to be thinking about this for a while.
You would think about it all night. You're not gonna get any sleep now.
Don't put that out there.
I don't know. There's some people like would ask that question. It's like, well, maybe we're in that Matrix simulation.
Yeah. Yeah,
and like AI is controlling us.
It's just all, this is all someone's dream, right?
Yep.
It's all, yeah. I do, some of these, I do enjoy a good philosophical, like, let me ponder this. And then after not too long, I'm like, yeah, I'm done with this.
Yep.
I do, honestly, I feel like I'm not smart enough to fully engage in some of those thought experiments sometimes. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. That was the one class I dropped at Concordia, Chicago, philosophy.
Oh, really?
I got an F on like one of the biggest tests. Like, well, there's no way I'm gonna get a passing grade in this class, so I dropped it. So it didn't affect my GPA.
Yeah, yeah. A couple of my friends there were philosophy majors, and they had to do some project. Had to present some paper at the end, and yeah, man, it's over my head.
Yep. All right. Well, we may never know who's actually listening. Then
I'm gonna be getting to the bottom of this, though.
You should ask Hunter. He could give us a clear answer, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is going to be our show for today. Thank you for coming on the podcast Beyond the Sermon. Next week, I will be interviewing Pastor Josh. I am Michael Sinn. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Goodbye.